Hello. A little known fact about me is that I'm a big fan of the history of video games, more specifically, games day one patches. Now, one game that has eluded me due to how complicated it is to set up is Garry's Mod. Gmod 10, to be precise, which is the launch version of Gmod in 2006. Well, I finally managed to get it working with this here time machine. So we're gonna go back to 2006. And here we are. November 29th of 2006. Welcome to Garry's Mod 10, the 10th version of Garry's Mod, and the first, the first, commercially released version published by Steam. By Valve for Steam, oh my god! This version has a lot of cut content and was a pain to set up, considering the fact that you have to manually mount everything. For example, the counter source guns, which, guess what, are cut from Gmod 13 for some odd reason. Maybe because of the fact that the pullout animations are really fast. Some other stuff here is, like some map changes, like the garage actually housing vehicles for once, including the, airboat with gun variant, which is impossible to spawn, by normal means, either by it be through the spawn menu or commands, as it'll always just spawn the version without the gun. The only way to get the gun version is, I believe, to use, like, dupes on, like, the Half-Life 2 maps. Speaking of, some other cut content, we have, obviously we have the Vortigaunt in its, pre-orange box texture. We also have, all the Counter-Strike guns, which I mentioned earlier. And we also have the old main menu, to say, which I actually kind of like more than the version that we have in GM13. Over here, we have some more unused rooms. In fact, all of these aren't here, because this is not a color room. This is not the color room. Because, trying to paint it does absolutely nothing. You can't right-click it to paint, and you can't right-click it to remove. This is the white room, not the paint room. Because over here we have the black room. You also can't paint this. This is just unpaintable for some reason. But you might be thinking, oh, is this an early version of Darkroom? No, because the Darkroom is right here. Why is this built like this? I don't know. And the most confusing of all is, this room, the colored lighting room, which is, a tech demo feature featured all the way back, since the earliest version of Half-Life 1. The E3 alpha that's been floating around online for a while, had a room literally just like this, maybe even a bit better. We also have, these unfinished catwalks that lead to nowhere. Oh, and this catwalk that, I guess becomes an early version of what would be the hill over in this area. Despite this, the collision for this area exists for some reason. You can walk on it, you can interact with this building, which, despite using a background model, has full collision compared to other of them. All of these do, actually. All of these have full collision, which is very interesting. So, on to some other maps here. We have, the classics. We've got the Garry's Mod maps, we got Flatgrass, and we have the Counter-Strike maps. You can access other maps by using the Browse All, but for some reason, only Garry's Mod and Counter-Strike maps actually show up here, so they're going to be the only ones I'm really going to talk about with the base Gmod. The Counter-Strike maps work, or seem like, are roughly the same as the GM13 version, considering the fact that Counter-Strike has not updated since GM10 came out. Now, if I really want to showcase this game's age, properly, what we gotta do is go into this menu, and we gotta go to Options, and here we have the player models, which there are, like, approximately 12 of. We also have, the player settings with the name, which defaults to Bingbag if you don't have a Steam username. But also we have, the location, website, your email address, your MSN Messenger, your Google Talk, your AIM, and your Xfire accounts, I guess. Very interesting, considering the fact that I don't think any of these exist anymore. But what is interesting is the Flatgrass map. Or I guess I should say uninteresting. It is just a grass faceplate with a default hammer, Half-Life 2 beta skybox, and a off-center garage platform to build things with. We also have, you know, morphing, which is actually one of my favorite features, actually. You can just morph your, you can just morph the view area, which I think is really cool, and I think should have been in Gmod 13, or I think should be added back into Gmod 13, because I think it's just a really cool feature. But that's not the last thing. You see, there's something called tutorials, which requires a Flash player, which no longer exists. So that was our journey into Gmod 10. If you'd like to know what I should do next, I don't know, comment or something. I promise not to go like 2 uploads every 2 years again. Maybe three videos this time. Maybe 3 videos every 2 years. That's gonna be my upload schedule from now on. Alright, guys. Goodbye!